All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are going to crack the code on one of the most, let's face it, complex business environments in the world, Japan. So I want you to forget what you think you know because we're diving straight into the deep end, into the unwritten rules that can make or break everything.
See, this is a world where the smallest actions carry enormous weight. And look, this goes way beyond just being polite. This is about navigating a culture where, really, every single gesture is a kind of test, and every interaction is a step toward building something that will last. The stakes, they're incredibly high.
So, how do you even begin to navigate all this, right? How do you build those lasting, successful relationships in a place where the rule book seems, well, invisible? To get to that answer, we've got to start with the one thing that matters more than money, more than contracts, more than anything else.
And that one thing is the foundation. Because before you even think about signing a contract, before any real business can happen, you have to build the foundation. And in Japan, it's built on a single, powerful currency: trust.
Now, the word you need to know is shinyo. And please, don't just translate this as trust. It's so much deeper than that. Think of it as a hard-earned, proven reputation for absolute reliability. It's not a nice to have, it is the entire operating system. Without shinyo, you might as well be invisible.
So how do you even begin to build this shinyo from scratch? Well, you can't just walk in the front door and announce you're here. A warm introduction from a respected senior figure or a trusted mutual contact, that's everything. It's like they are literally lending you their own reputation just to get your foot in the door.
Okay, let me give you a perfect example of this in action. There's the story of a chef, right? He wants to open a world-class sushi restaurant. He goes to the famous fish markets in Japan, cash in hand, ready to buy the absolute best. But they wouldn't sell to him. The truly premium stuff, the best cuts of tuna, the rarest sea urchin, it's kept hidden. It's reserved only for those who've built a relationship and earned that deep trust over years and years. Your money is no good there. Only trust can buy you access.
And this, right here, this really lays out the two different worlds we're talking about. You know, in many Western cultures, it's all about the transaction. How fast can we do the deal? What's in it for me? Let's get it in the contract. But in Japan, that's all secondary. The real focus is on the relationship, on patience, and in asking, how can we build a future together? The contract might just be a formality. The real agreement is built entirely on trust.
Okay, so let's say you get that introduction. You're in the door, now what? Well, from this moment on, every single thing you do is being watched. It starts with the first impression, where you're going to face a series of rituals that are much more than just pleasantries. They are, in fact, your first test. The business card, or meishi, is not just a piece of paper. You have to think of it as an extension of the person themselves. Handling it right is a critical test. You present it with two hands to show humility. You receive their card with two hands to show respect. You pause, you actually read it, you acknowledge who they are, and then you place it on the table in front of you for the whole meeting. It's a constant, visible sign of respect. Get this wrong, and you failed the test before you've even said a single word. Now, you don't need to be fluent in Japanese, but even the smallest efforts, they get magnified. They really do. Just introducing yourself in Japanese, having your name printed on your card in their language, or offering a simple, proper bow, these things signal that you care. You've made an effort to respect their culture. And trust me, that goes a very, very long way.
But maybe the single most powerful tool you have is this phrase, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. There's no perfect English translation, but it's a powerhouse. When you say it at the beginning of a new relationship, it signals everything: your hope for a positive future, your humility, and your commitment to making things work. It's a phrase that genuinely opens hearts and minds. And think about this for a second. When you leave a meeting, your hosts might bow, and they will hold that bow until your car is completely down the street, totally out of sight. Now, why would they do that? You can't even see them anymore. But that's the point. They aren't doing it for you. They're doing it to meet their own incredibly high standard of respect. It's a personal commitment to excellence in their own role. Okay, so you pass those initial tests of respect. You've leveled up, but now you enter the final trial, and honestly, it's the most important one of all.
This is where you have to prove that your commitment is just as strong as your etiquette, and that your word, well, that your word is unbreakable. Your Japanese partners, they are fiercely protective of their reputation, of their name. So if they agree to supply you with their product, your performance suddenly becomes a reflection of them. They worry, what if you misuse it? What if you handle it poorly and damage our good name? And that's why it's not at all uncommon for a supplier to fly halfway around the world just to inspect your operation firsthand. They have to be absolutely sure you live up to their standards. And speaking of commitment, there's this incredible story. An event organizer had booked a major Japanese artist for a concert. She had given her word, just a simple promise, but she was about to find out just how much that promise was going to cost her. So just before the show, her sponsors pulled out, all of them. She was facing total financial disaster. Now, the logical choice, the business choice, was to cancel. But she had made a promise, so she refused to back down. She pushed forward, even with no money. And what happened next was amazing. New sponsors actually emerged, inspired by her sheer commitment, and the concert was a huge success. That one act of honoring her word against all odds, it didn't just save the concert, it forged her reputation. It proved her shinyo was real, and it opened doors for decades. And the lesson here is crystal clear. The Japanese business world is way smaller and more connected than you think. Word travels fast. You break a promise to one person, and you can bet everyone will know about it by morning. In that kind of environment, your reputation, your shinyo, is the single most valuable asset you have, and you have to protect it at all costs. So, you've passed the rituals of respect. You've proven your commitment is unbreakable. After all these tests, what is the ultimate reward for all of this effort? Well, first, you have to understand that it never really stops. Building trust isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous process. Your partners are always observing, always looking for that consistency, for that commitment. Think of it as a constant reaffirmation of the relationship. And even in a long-established relationship, the tests continue. Let's go back to that restaurateur. After months of building trust, his supplier comes to him and offers an incredibly rare, incredibly expensive fish. Now, this wasn't just a sale, it was another test. The supplier was essentially saying, I am trusting you with my absolute best. Are you committed enough to handle it? By accepting, the restaurateur unlocked a completely new, higher tier of their partnership.
When you actually see it laid out like this, the reward becomes so clear. Look, you can chase small, single transactions your whole career, or you can invest the time, the patience, the effort to build real shinyo. And the payoff isn't just a long-term partnership. It's an unwavering loyalty that is almost priceless. You don't just gain a client, you gain a partner for life.
So, yeah, the path to success in Japanese business is demanding. There's no question. It takes immense patience, deep respect, and an unbreakable commitment to your word. It truly is a marathon, not a sprint. But that leaves us with one final thought. What if all that effort doesn't just get you a deal, but gets you a partner you can count on unconditionally for the rest of your career? That right there, that's the power of shinyo.